In a world where humans and animals usually walk separate paths, there are rare moments when their lives cross in the most unexpected ways. Sometimes, a simple act of kindness you give freely brings back a reward you never imagined. This story is one of those moments where a man receives help from an unusual friend. So, without further ado, let's begin the story. It all starts in 2008 with a young man named Sebastian. Fresh out of university, he was ready to explore the world with a heart full of adventure. While most of his friends were interested in parties and city life, Sebastian felt a pull towards something different. He didn't dream of fancy hotels or city lights. He wanted to wander through villages, sit under open skies, and explore untouched landscapes. Sebastian set out to travel alone, choosing his path and pace. Unlike most, he wasn't interested in flights or trains. His father gifted him a powerful SUV, a perfect companion for his journey. The SUV wasn't just a vehicle. It was like a trusted friend, strong and sturdy. With a roaring engine and a frame built to handle any path, it felt like freedom itself, if begging him to unleash it on endless roads. One cloudy day, he found himself speeding down a quiet, forest-lined road. The sky above was a deep, stormy gray, hinting that rain was on its way, but he welcomed the stillness. There was no one else around, just him, his music, and the road stretching far ahead. When the rain finally began to pour, he turned up the music, trusting in his SUV's strong build to handle the slippery road. But in a flash, everything changed. Out of nowhere, a horned creature, a deer maybe, leapt right in front of his car. Sebastian barely had a second to react. Gripping the steering wheel, he swerved sharply, hoping to avoid the animal. The car spun out of control, skidding across the wet road until it slammed into a tree. The impact was strong, and before he knew it, everything went dark as he slipped into unconsciousness. When Sebastian awoke, he found himself in a strange, new world. He lay in a cozy bed, wrapped in clean clothes that felt different from his own. The room was simple and modest, filled with the warmth of someone's life. There were no shiny hospital lights, just a small bed, a wooden table, and an old stove that gave the place a comforting feel. As he tried to understand where he was, an elderly man entered the room. When the old man saw he was awake, a big smile spread across his face. He brought a glass of water, asked how he felt, and gently wondered if he remembered the accident. But no matter how hard he tried, the young man couldn't recall anything after the crash. The elderly man sat down next to him and shared the story of how he had been found. His rescuer was a forest ranger, a man deeply in tune with the woods and its secrets. The ranger then began to tell a tale from 2 years ago, a story that had now come full circle, connecting their lives in unexpected ways. It was in 2006 when a forest ranger was out on his regular rounds. As he walked through the woods, he heard a sad cry coming from the thick bushes. Carefully, he pushed aside the branches and saw a heartbreaking sight. A large bear lay wounded, hurt by poachers. Next to her was a tiny cub, shivering and trying to wake her up. When the cub saw the ranger, it cowered in fear, looking for comfort from its mother. Yet, even in the cub's scared eyes, there was a spark of hope. The ranger couldn't just walk away. He felt deep compassion for the little bear and gently coaxed it into his care. He brought the cub home, where his wife, who also loved animals, welcomed the tiny creature with open arms. Together, they took care of the cub, giving it the love and protection it desperately needed. As the years passed, the little cub grew into a strong and noble bear. He never forgot the humans who had saved him. The bear became a guardian for the ranger's house, and soon the villagers learned to avoid the property, knowing the protective bear roamed the woods. Even with his wild instincts, he stayed gentle toward those who meant no harm. The ranger allowed him the freedom to wander, but no matter how far he explored, he always returned home. On the day of Sebastian's accident, the bear was out exploring when he heard a loud crash echoing through the forest. Curious and sensing that something was wrong, he rushed toward the noise. There, beside the wreckage of the SUV, lay the young man, unmoving. Without thinking, the bear gently grabbed Sebastian by his collar and, using a careful grip, began to drag him toward the ranger's home. The bear knew he had to help, showing that the bond between them was stronger than anyone could imagine. Hours passed, and the ranger began to worry about his furry friend who had not returned at his usual time. He looked into the distance and finally spotted the bear coming back, dragging something heavy behind him. At first, the ranger thought it was just a big animal, but as it got closer, he realized it was a person, a young man who had clearly been in an accident. The ranger quickly took action, bringing the young man into his home. He cleaned his wounds and watched over him as he lay unconscious for days. The ranger cared for him just like he had cared for the injured cub. But deep down, he wondered if the young man would ever wake up. Then, after what felt like forever, he finally did. The ranger finished telling his story, but Sebastian found it hard to believe. A bear, a wild bear, had dragged him to safety? The ranger smiled and pointed beside the bed. There lay the bear, his big body stretched out like a guard, with calm yet watchful eyes. As Sebastian looked into those deep eyes, a silent understanding formed between them. The bear had indeed saved him, giving him a second chance at life. As the days went by, Sebastian grew stronger. Each day, he stepped outside to find the bear waiting for him. The bear had become a loyal friend, and they shared a special bond without needing words. Together, they wandered through the forest, with the bear leading him along hidden paths and showing him the secrets of the woods. Sebastian loved these moments. The forest felt alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and chirping birds. With each adventure, he felt more connected to nature and the bear that had saved him. When the time finally came for him to leave, saying goodbye was hard. He thanked the ranger, who had become more than just a rescuer to him. He gave the bear one last affectionate scratch behind the ears, feeling grateful for their time together. As he drove away, he promised himself he would return. And in return, he did, again and again. Each visit brought joy, laughter, and the warmth of friendship with his unlikely companions. Sebastian's story was like no other. A bear saved by a human, now helping him in return. The bear seemed to understand that Sebastian needed a friend, just like he once needed a savior. Their bond showed that even in the wild, love and kindness could create unexpected friendships. That's all for today. Now, it's your turn to share your thoughts about this story. What's the next story you'd like to know? Let us know in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of these amazing videos on The Wild Wonder.